back. If you don't know, one of the largest and most successful robotics teams are right here in West Michigan. Grandville Public Schools teams started back in the 90s, and now more than 600 students in the district have designed robots. This weekend, GPS hosting the Michigan VEX IQ Tournament of Champions. And joining us is Doug Hepfer, one of the coaches for the Grandville High School Robo Dogs, and Roger Barrett, who's the superintendent of Grandville Public Schools. Thank you so much for being here this morning. You've brought in some props here. This is so spectacular. When I was in high school or middle school, this is an opportunity that I wish I would have had. So can you first talk about the success of just the program in general and where you guys are now with it?
Sure. So the RoboDog started in 1998 with a single team.
Okay.
Wow.
At that time, the superintendent of schools had been to an event and seen a FIRST robotics event, and he said, we need one of these. And they came back and started their first team.
Wow.
It was an early team. We were number 288. Now there are more than 10,000 teams in that particular competition, so we were at the very beginning.
10,000.
Over the ensuing 28 years, we've grown from being one team to being 160 teams now.
Wow.
We were high school only. We now do second grade through high school.
I mean, you are giving all ages, basically, of Grandville Public Schools the opportunity to dive into this world. We'll get to that in just a second, but first I need to ask you about this weekend, about the event happening this weekend. It's a joint venture between GPS as well as Amazon. Talk to us about that, and this is really more geared toward the elementary school kids when it comes to the competition, right?
Right, so this weekend we're having two things simultaneously at our robotics competition center.
Okay.
So last year, Grandville opened this really spectacular 65,000 square foot center
Yeah, we
devoted
have
to
some
STEM
pictures
education,
of it. Yeah.
and devoted to this type of competition. So we can do things at the same time. So in the main arena, you'll see robots like this, right? This is a VEX IQ robot. The 40 top teams from the state are coming to play in this event. They take balls like this and they run around the field. The robots find them, they collect them, they bring them to the top, they shoot them into targets. And this is built by fourth graders. This one, 3 fourth graders in Grandville built, so I brought it along today. So half of Saturday is devoted to watching 40 teams compete with these devices that elementary kids have built. The other side is this robotics expo that Amazon's helping us with. It's designed to expose people to the 11 different types of robotics we do and to show schools what's possible and what they can become involved in. So our job is to show it to lots of school districts and lots of parents and say, wouldn't you like your kids to do this too?
That's pretty cool. So that's this weekend. So
this weekend.
On Saturday, right?
Saturday, all day long. This competition starts at 9 and runs till 4. The expo is from 10 to 2.
Very cool.
Yeah, so you mentioned that this is a VEX IQ robot. Can you walk us through kind of what that means? What are the requirements to make something a VEX IQ robot?
Amber, it's so nice to be with you guys because it's fun to tell people what kids can do. When I show these robots off, people say to us, an elementary student built that. No, actually 3 or 4 did. And they have to conceive it, design it, build it, program it, and play it. So this robot, there's a little brain in the back here.
Yeah.
I spin it around so viewers can see it. There's a little brain tucked in down there.
Okay.
Right? And this robot has, of course, motor underneath to drive it. It's got motors on top, up here, where it shoots these balls out of the top when it gets there. And what's real interesting is like with elementary kids, this is a gyro. It lets the kids see what the robot's done, how it's moved, where it's positioned. Elementary kids will write code that will cause this robot to go find these on a 6x8 field, collect them, bring them up through their little conveyor system, which has got 5 million rubber bands in it.
Wow.
Wow.
Up to the top. It will locate a target, and it knows where it's at on the field. So it will navigate the field, it'll get in front of the target and shoot that, and it'll do that without any kid involved.
Oh.
Right?
Wow.
So our kids in 4th grade are learning how to design and build and program something that will autonomously, on its own, go play the game. There's also a section with a joystick so the kids get to drive it.
Okay.
But I like
that
to
would be
watch.
my favorite part, right?
Oh,
the
the
video
kids love
game
that
aspect, right?
This game is played with 2 robots like this in a team. So you have a partner from another school you play with. And the requirement this year is that you pass this ball between the robots before you score. So now not just you have to play the game, you have to pass that to someone else who has to take it and then score it.
Wow, so kind of like football, but also robot version.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Well,
Kinda
cool.
like that.
Let's talk about the impact that this has on your students. I mean, obviously, these elementary school age kids are learning robotics. I mean, I don't know about any other school district. I mean, I'm sure there are many, but I mean, there are some kids learning some very valuable lessons. So what kind of lessons does this teach them early on in their young lives?
Roger, you may be better answer than I am because...
You bet. So, I mean, when you think about it, role-playing, collaboration, critical thinking, problem solving, and also getting kids to understand that through mistakes, through failure comes learning. And a lot of times that helps kids overcome that fear. But it really is the most engaging thing I've ever seen kids involved in with school. And used to watch this and go, they do this after school a lot, and they would volunteer their time after school and weekends. And it was like, how do we get this happening during school so that engagement happens not just after school? I mean, you'd see kids volunteer their time and go, if they're willing to volunteer their time like that, they're here at school, we have them, let's make this happen during their school experiences and bring what they're learning to life during the classroom experience as well. And so this has created the ability to do that, to really engage kids and to help them realize that whatever their dreams are, they're possible, and it gives them those opportunities, all those soft skills, if you will, to really look at what could be so for them.
I think it's cool because I don't think they realize the skills they'll carry forward in their
Yes.
lives, not only just as, second, third, fourth, fifth graders, but into their middle and high school careers, but also something that could turn into a future career for them as well. I think that's spectacular.
Yeah, the robots kind of factoring into that, robotics at least, and then also the teamwork, leadership,
Yes.
all of those additional skills that they're learning as well.
Correct.
Let's talk about Montreal, because I know you guys just got back from a huge competition up there. This is RoboDog, so we're talking about the high school version of this team. We have some pictures there of you guys up there in Canada. What was this competition? How difficult is it to get into it, and how do you guys compete against some of the other, schools or teams that would be there?
So our kids start, of course, in second grade building robots like this, right? By the time you get to high school, they build the big ones you see on the screen.
Right.
That's first robotics competition. It was our first love. In 1998, it was our first team. We have 3 FRC teams today. We're one of the only schools in the country to run 3 side by side.
Wow.
Because we have so many kids that want to put their hands on this technology. Montreal runs a regional competition. We've tried for 12 years to get in there. We never got in until this year.
Wow.
They said they'd let us come play. We were there last week. We played from Wednesday through Sunday up there. We played with 37 other teams, almost all from Quebec. There was one other non-Quebec team. So we took our kids into this place where the event was run in French, not English.
Okay.
We play with teams that have the same robot parts and the same idea, but built very different machines. And you play 3-on-3 in these competitions where they pair you with 2 other teams, and the 3 of you play against 3 different teams. And when you do that, all of a sudden your kids are playing alongside kids who have some English ability, but English isn't their first language.
Yeah.
And it was really wonderful to go to Montreal. I've heard so many things about Canada, and I have friends in Canada. We start those events with the national anthem. And you'd see our kids stand up and they'd sing the U.S. national anthem with us. And we sang the French national anthem with them, and we sang the Canadian O Canada with the Canadians. And everybody cheers for each other's anthems, and it's this incredible collaborative community where the kids see that borders don't mean a lot.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun for my kids to go, wow, we're accepted here. We were invited back already. We've never gotten in until now. We already have an invitation for next year.
And it breeds a collaborative spirit early on in lives too, which is important. Another valuable life lesson I'm sure these kids will take forth with them. This program is historic for many reasons. You started back in '98 with the first team there. Moving forward, why do you think this has been so successful in the program? And I'll ask you first, why do you think it's been so successful for your students and here for West Michigan as well?
Yeah, well, I think, the engagement, all the soft skills we mentioned, the connections to business, the connections to real world learning, it is all there. And those things really they're the pinnacle of what we're trying to do for kids. And so I think that's really taken off. Another thing is, it doesn't matter what type of kid you are, you can be involved in this, and it's amazing what our kids do. You like I said, all kinds, students with disabilities do amazing things in this program, and their confidence just soars, and their ability to really look at what could be for them. So can't say enough what this program does for that.
Yeah, we're running a little tight on time, so I want to make sure I get a couple of more questions in here about the facility. So that just recently opened up not long ago. How do you guys convince your taxpayers, your board, to open up a robotics facility when this is not a mainstream art?
Yes. Well, First of all, this program has had a lot of success and people see the value in that, and that helps a great deal. And we attached it to our middle school because they could see the value of how this could help kids during the school day as well as after school. Also, the ability to connect our businesses, our local businesses. You know, when people come in for competitions, they're going to stay in your hotels, shop in your stores, eat at your restaurants, and enjoy everything that's the area around us. And so they saw the value in that too. And to be able to host state and national conventions or tournaments in a facility like this is just off the charts. Every time we have a business come in and see what our kids are doing and see this facility, they're just always amazed by that. So yeah, we're very blessed. Our community understood that and they really support it, and it's just a great thing.
Doug, I know your name is on this book. We've got to talk about the book because this is something that Grandville coaches actually wrote. Kind of the, is it a guideline on educational robotics, or what is it really?
So there's two parts. There's a history of the team.
Okay.
So many people, we've started more than 50 other educational robotics teams in different school districts. And in doing that, we've learned a lot about what it takes to be successful. We ourselves have had more successful times and less successful times. So the first part is a history of the team over the 28 years. How do you go from one team to 160, and what's the journey like? The second part is really the important part, is what does this do for public schools? Right? This has a tremendous impact by enhancing that education they get during the school day. As Roger talked about, these kids give us 1,500 hours a year at the high school level. Outside of school hours.
Yeah.
That's almost a full-time job.
Yeah.
And they learn things because they want to be there. It's amazing when people say, I want to learn, I want to be part of that. So robotics takes the things they learned in calculus and in physics and makes it real and tangible. They say, I know what the unit circle is now, I know what radians are, and I care. It's not on a test, it's because I got to guide this quadcopter, and I'm getting return values in radians, I got to understand
I can
them.
see it actively.
Yeah.
So the second half of the book is about how do you start a team, how do you build one, how do you fund them. It's so important to have sponsors. We're so fortunate this weekend to have Amazon stepping in now and helping us spread the message about the value of educational robotics. Bradford White's been a sponsor, one of our longest standing sponsors, and of course Westwood AI. We have these major sponsors that put tens of thousands of dollars a year into this program to allow us to run the programs that are in that facility. Because you understand, public schools don't have the money to run programs like we're talking about. Roger provides an amazing facility, and we got to go find the money to run those programs. And there's a tremendous base of donors that make that happen. And the book talks about how do you find those donors, how do you convince businesses this is valuable, how do you convince communities this is valuable, how do you convince people that this matters?
Yeah, absolutely. We got to leave it there because unfortunately we are tight on time. We'll see you back tomorrow at 9 a.m.